Um, hey everyone, my name is Luke Rowan. I am part of the enterprise sales team at EdApp. And I've also got Camilla here with me, who's part of our product team.
Hi, everyone.
So we're going to be taking you through our AI enhancements today. Obviously, this is the second installment of a really brilliant webinar that Camilla hosted. Was it about 4 weeks ago, Camilla?
Yeah, 4 or 5 weeks, I think.
Awesome. And what we're looking at today is really some enhancements to what the team had released 6 to 8 weeks ago in the platform. Obviously, AI is changing every day, and what comes with that is a great deal of investment of resources from our teams on bringing these types of new capabilities to you. What we're going to talk through today is what we've newly done in the platform, and talk about some use cases that we're hearing from customers to bring these features to life. Before we get into the features, I just wanted to reflect quickly because every day as an enterprise sales rep, I am talking to customers, and many of you on the call may already know me. Forever at EdApp, we've really been on this mission to democratize learning, which essentially means allowing anybody, whether you're a skilled instructional designer or somebody that has another day job, to be able to create really meaningful and exciting training on the platform. I think often I talk to organizations and they've got thousands of products to train on if you're in retail, or if you're in manufacturing, you've got hundreds of SOP documents that are currently paper-based that you want to bring into a new solution. Or if you're in the hospitality game, maybe you've got service manuals that you've built and put a lot of care into, and you want to translate them over to a tool like EdApp. But of course, the challenge of bringing all of this extensive documentation and training into a new platform is a big one. Obviously, you might already have an instructional design team, you might have some resource, but irrespective of how much resource you have, this is a very large and lengthy process to get this content into a platform. And we have always been on this charge to say, we want to develop an authoring tool that allows organizations to get this job done quickly and easily and make it super exciting training for learners. I think that I've been with the EdApp business for quite a while now, and really this move into AI-generated content has helped us kind of go a little bit further toward this idea of democratizing training. So as such, you might imagine that we're very, very excited about it. So when we talk about new additions to the platform, Camilla was nice enough to share this first module here, this AI Create course feature, which we demoed a couple of weeks ago. Since that time, we've been super busy in the background. We are very, very excited about advancing the capability in the platform. And what we're going to show you today is really just the beginning. So we would love for you to come on this journey with us today and in the future as well.
Hey, Luke, sorry to jump in, but
Go
your
ahead.
meeting controls are just over the top of the screen in the screen share, so we can't see exactly what's going on.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Are you seeing a few of our faces, or are you looking for?
Yeah, that's better now. You've
Okay.
got that panel. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Thanks for the tip there, Maddie. I'm glad we have a few people supporting this webinar. So we've got a few icons on screen here to talk about what we're going to showcase today. So as I said, the AI Course Create feature we demoed, and we're going to go over that one again. The second piece here is our AI Create multiple choice generator. So we got some initial feedback that yes, the AI Creators is a good starting point, but our customers want to bolster the content that is initially built with more quiz questions and more dynamic engagement. So we've developed that capability. We then have a feature called AI Slide Transform. That one is coming out, I believe, this week, Camilla, is that correct?
This week or early next week, yeah.
Okay, great. So we're going to talk about that one. We can't show it to you today, but we can absolutely talk about the capability there. Then we're going to talk about our our video and image editor feature. This is actually a feature that's not powered by AI, but when we talk about content generation, it's highly appropriate to mention it. Then we have our fun and easy to use rich text editor, which will make basically beefing up and optimizing the content much easier than before. And then finally, we have a feature called Paths, which is not actually related to content development. It's more related to structuring categories and pathways of content once you've got your courses laid out in the tool. We wanted the opportunity to share that with you all, so we're going to use this webinar to have a look at it. Obviously, the AI Create features are just one component of the platform, and we really believe that all of the other features inside of EdApp give you the ability to take this content that is automatically generated and maximize its deployment. We know that AI is just the start of the authoring journey. You guys, as L&D leaders, would never use a piece of content that is just generated from scratch, and you would never just deploy something that you don't QA yourself. So EdApp's rapid authoring tool is very important, and we're going to talk about that. Again, diversified gamified templates are very important. Language translation features. So once you generate content, can we translate it to different languages? Yes, absolutely. Brain boost spaced repetition is a feature to automatically nudge your employees once they've engaged with the training, using AI in group training and then tracking all of this behavior as well. So hopefully as we demo today, we can just kind of frame up that the AI Create features is really just one piece of the puzzle, and all of the other components of the platform allow you to go much further. We'll save the QA for the end of the demonstration, but I think that's enough segue to be able to jump in here and have a look at the features live. So many of you would know this experience here. This is our EdApp admin console, where you might build courses, you might manage your users, set up engagement features, things like leaderboards and prizes and banners, etc. You facilitate features and, importantly, analytics as well. Today, of course, we're looking at AI Create features. The AI Create journey for an admin or an author starts with this pop-up here. This is our prompt to tell, in our case, ChatGPT, what we want to train our audience on. For the purposes of this demo, we kind of thought about, okay, who is going to be on this webinar and how can we speak to training content that you may already deploy or you may be wanting to deploy. So for any of you that are in physical workplaces like construction or manufacturing or logistics or services implementation in the field, perhaps you're already delivering some training around safety on roofing. So we pulled an SOP from Safe Work Australia, obviously in Australia, a very reputable source of training. And of course, typical training documents often look like this, paper-based SOPs that, yes, they have a lot of great information, but aren't really that interactive or appropriate for the audience. So when we come to our prompt here, what we can do is tell the AI what we want to push out, or we can brief it with subject matter. So in this case, what I've done here is copy pasted the contents of this document over here into our prompts. So it is the source of inspiration for the output in EdApp. We are, Camilla, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are getting pretty close to a document uploader as a form of providing guidance to the AI. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So at this step, yeah, you could have a third option. So as opposed to entering a prompt versus copying and pasting in some information. We'll give you the option to upload a PDF, PowerPoint, or Word document.
Right.
That's, yeah, work that's in development. We're considering potentially even what output. It may generate a kind of an outline that you can then edit before generating the course, and also looking at generating multiple lessons within one course. Because at the moment you can see here that this AI generated course just contains the one AI generated lesson.
Perfect. Wonderful. We know that those inputs will differ customer by customer. As we pointed out a few slides ago, some of you may have all of your collateral hosted on websites or intranets. Some of you may have paper-based documents that you've been printing forever. So there's lots of different sources. So we want to make that process of importing content as seamless as possible. What we're seeing on screen here, for anyone that actually hasn't seen this initial feature for AI Create before, is essentially the AI is pulling in slides from our template library, from our content builder tool, and populating it with the subject matter that it deems most relevant from the document that we just copy pasted from. So we have our output here. This is what you're looking at on screen is called the EdApp content builder tool, or our authoring tool. It consists of a series of different templates here, knowledge transfer templates, quiz questions, etc., in order to convey the subject matter of the document. In the center of the screen, we have our preview. So if I just jump back here, we have a title slide. We have a second slide here, which we're essentially previewing the content that the AI has built for us. On the right-hand side, we have the editor. This is where you go about modifying the output from the AI. So for example, we have a nice title here. We have a secondary call to action. This might be a little bit redundant, so we can delete it. So as I was saying before, very much the fundamentals of the EdApp authoring tool make AI super exciting. Let's go back to the document. I think, often the first question that I hear when demoing this feature is, okay, how true to the original source content is it? And this is a nice example to pull through. So in the beginnings of this document, we've got some introductory content to summarize what this SOP is all about. And then we have a key section here. What are the main hazards and control measures, which are broken down into falls, fragile roofs, roof access, electricity, etc. So if we have a look at the output here, we've got, if I just again go back to the beginning, we've got our title slide, we've got our introductory content, which we can modify and beef up if we like. Maybe we want to adjust the styling to call out specific pieces of information. We have our summary of falls, which is that first section over here in the document. Sorry, let me just zip up here. Falls. We then go on to have a look at roof access, fragile roofs, electricity, etc. So it's pulled in the key elements of the document and summarized those. Camilla, anything to add here in terms of the output? I think, there's 1,000,001 questions as to how this magic actually happens in the platform. Any thoughts on where the images come from or the way the text is generated?
Yeah, so we integrate with OpenAI's ChatGPT to pull in the text content. The more information you provide within that prompt, so if you are copying and pasting information in, the output will be very close to that information you've provided. If you've provided a lot of text, it will summarize it down, condense it down into a more suitable micro-learning content that would then fit on these slide templates. You'll notice that if you provide a lot more information, you'll get more than 16 slides. If you just type in a simple text prompt, you might get a few less than 16 or around the 16 slides within a lesson. The images are pulled through from our Bing's search API. So at times they're not particularly relevant. Other times they're not too bad. But they're really easy to switch out with our Unsplash integration or our Canva integration, or you can upload your own assets as well. Depending on how niche the topic is, sometimes the images aren't fantastic, and it does pick up off the text within that slide. So certain nouns might trigger a particular image to be included.
Brilliant. Thank you for that explanation. And again, if anyone has any questions about, I guess, the finer nuances of how this all comes together, hit the chat and we'll talk about those questions at the end of the session. I think that's a nice segue into part of this lesson, which I think we've got some information around sun safety. We've got just a title slide that it's inputted here, and we can go on through some extended content around sun safety. Now we have a visual here on the role of UVR exposure, and we've got a visual that's conveyed here. If we wanted to adjust the content of this particular slide and focus on PPE, which is obviously a very important facet of sun safety, this is a nice segue to talk about our new feature for image editing. Many of you would already know the Canva integration, where essentially you can launch Canva, pull in assets that you've designed in that platform and load them directly in the tool. We did hear a lot of feedback from customers that they wanted that capability outside of Canva as well. So what we've done is invest in an image and video editor, that lives directly in the platform. If I delete this graphic here, I can upload images from my desktop or from our library of images. We've got a few here that we've uploaded earlier. Essentially, that library contains all of the assets that you've uploaded to all of your courses in your account. So you can use it as an image repository. If I upload a graphic here, we just pulled a little visual earlier of two guys working on a roof that have obviously the correct hat or head safety gear. If I click on edit here, this is where we bring up the image and video editor. Let me just go back. Sorry, I'll exit out of that. As an immediate output, this image is obviously quite rectangular and as such doesn't look perfect on the mobile layout. But if I jump into the editor here and I crop this asset, we can start to refine it so it looks perfect for our learners. So cropping is just one part of editing. Of course, you can jump in here and annotate. So for example, we might want to add in some text up the top here in this clear space. Maybe the text should be white to have it pop off the background. And maybe we want to call out the fact that it's actually a wide brim hat, that is appropriate. We can increase the text size. And I'm sure there's a lot of people on the call that are far better designers than I am, but hopefully this is giving you some inspiration to build your own. And maybe we want to add in an arrow here. So simple annotations, simple editing functions that allow you to customize the graphics and make them perfect for then input into your training. So we'll let it do the magic there and upload that image, into our slide. I am showing a lot of mobile visuals here. Of course, EdApp works on any device, so we can resize the experience to have a look at what it might look like on a desktop or a tablet if appropriate. Obviously, that output is completely up to you. Camilla, any thoughts on my beautiful image that I've designed here? Anything that I've missed in terms of the capability of image editing?
Yeah, there's plenty to do. You can adjust, add filters, adjust color settings with the video editor itself. You can trim down videos, which is really useful if you've got large chunky videos you want to kind of essentially crop or trim video snippets to include in slides along the way. It's a really good way to break that down and to do it straight within the authoring tool in EdApp, rather than jumping between different software. And resizing, is a really useful one as well.
Brilliant. Awesome. So if we've got exact aspect ratios, we can plug them in here and resize the graphic. Amazing. Okay, so we'll pop that in there. As we cycle through the rest of this content in this lesson that we've created, very important to note that we've got quiz questions that are generated as part of the module. When we talk about the most effective micro-learning, and we give you guys guidance on how to construct EdApp micro-learning, we very much endorse the idea that you use quiz questions to ask the learner to reflect on the information, get them really stopping down and paying attention, and which really kind of pulls away from the idea that they might be able to just flick through the material and get to the end and say they've completed it, but not really absorb the information. So quiz questions can be mandatory for completion. You can set minimum scores as well, so that a learner can't progress until they answer the question correctly. So this output from ChatGPT has given us a few different quiz question templates here. The great thing about EdApp microlearning is that quiz questions and gamified interactions can be developed in many different ways. So if I go down to our template library here, we've got multiple choice questions with imagery, with radio buttons, with our chat template. We've got assessment questions with fill in the missing word, for example. We've got matching templates where you're dragging an image into its bucket. So you can get super creative with the assessments. If I just go to this multiple choice quiz that the AI has generated, right now it's sitting down in slide 17. Perhaps we want to drag it up to a bit earlier in the process so that we want to make sure that, okay, the learner has understood some basic fundamentals of why they're in this course. And then we hit them with a multiple choice question to make sure they're on their toes. The structure of the lesson is completely up to you all and obviously reflecting on the audience. Okay, so one of the other features that we wanted to talk about today is generating questions inside of a lesson. And I personally think that this is very important to the output of an AI-generated course. If we go back to our document here, the AI has been able to pull from a lot of information in this document, and it's prioritized what it believes is key. But as an author, I might think that this snippet of information here is perhaps the most important takeaway from the material that we're dropping in. So what we can do is copy that information, and let's create a quiz question here with this information. So we want to ask the learner to test their knowledge with this info. We can exit out of this window at any point and dive back into our content. You can see it uploading and doing its magic in the background. And when it's ready, we can open that prompt and have a look at the questions that it's generated for us. So from that input, we have a number of quiz questions here, worded slightly differently to choose from. So we might say, okay, this one here is perhaps the most appropriate wording for our audience, or it focuses on the right information. We have a preview of that content on the right-hand side here. This is a great segue into the idea of slide transformation, which we mentioned at the top of the webinar. Camilla, can you tell us about slide transformation?
Yeah, so we'll soon be releasing question slide transformation. So when you enter in a prompt for AI questions to be generated, you'll then get an option to choose between 4 question slide templates. So the multiple choice template here, a carousel template, circle the answer, or the chat template, just to give a little bit more variety to the course. We are looking at doing this with more and more templates over time. That's just the 4 we're starting with. But yeah, we'd hope down the line to do something similar with content slides.
Brilliant. Wonderful. Yeah, I'd definitely love to see. I'm always trying to twist the arm of the product team, but seeing AI generated content with our game templates, and the sky's the limit. We're as I said before, we're just getting started here. So what we did just then is popped in that multiple choice question into this lesson here. I'm looking at the time here, and we need to press on with some other components of the demo. Before I get onto another type of demonstration or another subject matter, let's just talk about generating a pure quiz. Of course, what we've constructed with the AI here is a bit of knowledge transfer and some quiz questions intertwined. I do see from a lot of partners the desire to just simply create a quiz for their audience. And you can absolutely do that as well. So the way that you would go about it is just to create a new lesson module here. We've got our first AI generated lesson, and now we've got our quiz. And then you could go about using the AI question creator here to then come up with some additional questions. So we could literally go through and create 10 questions for our audience to complete. And we might put a minimum score on that component as well. If you've got questions that are in existing SOPs, so already pre-written questions, just as I've done here, you can copy them in and it will generate a template which you can just import and go from there. So that will save you a lot of time. Okay, I think that rounds up our kind of demo of SOPs type training. Let's have a look at a piece of product education. For this product example, we just picked the brand Ford, obviously just picked it out of a hat. We found some product education on their website. The F-150 vehicle here has obviously got a lot of great information about it on the web and a lot of very rich visuals. So now what we want to do is simulate taking this content here. And if I just grab this text here and I'll copy the information from this web page. So we've got quite a bit of information here in text. If I copy that and then drop it into our AI create feature, if I click here and paste it in again, we can generate a new course. Obviously, we're in a new account here that has Ford branding on it, and we're pulling in and creating all of the relevant details. Again, I guess the capability of using different sources, whether they be web pages, taking URLs directly works, is very exciting. So absolutely experiment with it in your own EdApp accounts. Any questions in the chat, Camilla, that are worth speaking to at this point? Hopefully this is hitting on everyone's kind of goals and things that they wanted to take away from this webinar. Feel free to jump in if there's any questions.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few being answered in the Q&A. One that came up was, around where the image is coming from. That was coming from the Bing search API, and we are only pulling in royalty-free, commercially available for use images. Apart from that, I've seen is, can the AI creator make content from videos too? It's something we're considering. We will be starting in terms of document uploader with just the PowerPoint, Word, and PDF transformation. But we have seen the possibility of, extracting text from videos, converting that into a course as a potential opportunity in the future.
Amazing. Certainly the fine-tuning of image assets is important. And Camilla, you were telling me that there's capacity to actually pull in assets from original source as well, from documents. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we're looking at that. So similar to the PowerPoint converter tool that's in the platform at the moment that does extract images from documents. We're looking at ways to include those images, whether it be in the media library for you then to add in to your lessons and course yourselves, or if we can somehow integrate that into each of the slides, is something we're definitely looking at.
Brilliant. Wonderful. Let's get to work on our Ford F-150 piece of product training here. So as we saw before, it's generated a series of templates with the information that we've popped in from this source here. The great thing about product education is that obviously you've got beautiful visuals to reference. What I want to do is pull in some of these graphics and show you how you might tailor it yourself. So this section here talks about the spacious cargo area. Obviously, it's pulled in a section of information from this piece here. Maybe I'll find another one so that I can see the exact source. Selectable drive modes. Let's have a look for that one. Down here. Okay, our selectable drive mode. So we've got an image asset here on screen. Of course, if this is your own training, you will have these stock assets on hand. Just doing it quick and rough for you on this webinar, I can take a little screenshot here and get it uploaded into the tool. Perhaps the text that's supporting this visual might want to be beefed up as well. And again, we go back to our rich text editor. Let's give it a title 1 styling, or maybe title 2 could be appropriate to make it a bit smaller. And then we can go through and customize at will here. If I progress on, we've got text-based templates. We've got our bullet pointed templates. This versatile 4x4 system has obviously been pulled from this bit of information here, and it's turned it into bullet points, which are a little bit easier to read through. What I also want to do, I guess when we looked at this product page, what we thought was a very compelling interaction and a great way to deliver information is this idea of light boxes on this website. Obviously, we're zeroing in on a graphic to tell a story. We can also achieve that inside of the EdApp authoring tool. And hopefully I can do this quickly and easily for you. Bear with me if I need a second to get it right. The feature or the slide that we have inside of EdApp to deliver that sort of experience is called waypoints. It's under images here. And if we go up to our image map, we have our asset on screen here. So just like the visual on the Ford website, we want to zero in on this graphic to tell a story. So I'll grab my screenshot here. I'll upload it into the lesson. And let's start to zoom in on regions of that graphic. We'll just let it upload there. Perfect. Okay, and our first region here, let's have a look at this point right here. And we want to, I might just adjust this second one. Great, I'll move it up here. Perfect. And our third region, let's pull that in over here. So if we go into our experience now, right now we can zoom in on those assets and we just get a stock graphic here. Let's go into this experience and I'll just pull in this image of the rear window here, and I'll grab the title here. Oh, we don't want that one. Copy, go into the editor, and I'll just pop that in here. Oh, sorry. Live demos are always a bit of fun. And I will delete that text and we can upload the graphic that we've captured here. So we wanted to focus on this template to really convey that the output from AI Create is really just the beginning. You can use our waypoints templates or our video templates to really enrich the output. We may get to a point in the future where AI is doing all of this amazing stuff for you out of the box, and hopefully we get there quickly. But your ability to modify and optimize the training is super important. Okay, so we've shown off a few features here. Let me just go back into the slides. We're probably getting close to the end of the webinar here. We've covered off course create. We've covered off multiple choice generation. We did preview slide transformation, and that'll be launched in the tool very quickly. We covered off the video and image editor, the rich text editor. What we haven't mentioned just yet is the paths feature. I might go back into our construction use case, and we can talk about what a path might be. So let's go up here and we can go to content. So under content, this is where you create all of the material that you would disseminate to your audience. Right now in this account, we've just got one course. If I go up to our library here, I can look for other courseware that's out of the box. And the library is a very important part of the EdApp platform. If you don't want to build content yourself, or you don't want to use AI Create, of course, there is a very large library of pre-built courses that are free to use, which you can import into your account. It's a nice segue into what paths are. So paths are categories of content or structured pathways of material that you can put together and assign out to audiences. So thinking about the use case of, okay, construction company, perhaps there's some induction material, and perhaps it needs to be completed in a certain sequence. So what you do is add the relevant courses. So maybe our safe work on roofs, maybe our pneumatic tools, maybe our PPE, maybe our hazardous materials, excavation and trenching. Maybe that's a more advanced pathway, so we won't select that one. We add those to the pathway and publish them here. Of course, we have to publish all of the courses as well. We can rearrange the ordering of the path, but it's essentially a pathway of material that the learner must complete in a set duration of time if you want to enable that setting. What is very key about paths is the idea that they're sequential or free form. You may know this feature from a previous iteration, which was simply the ability to deliver it in a free form fashion, which means that when the learner enters this category of content, they can pick and choose the content that they want to complete in any order. The sequential addition is very important. It essentially means that the content is locked until the learner has completed the modules in order. So we've saved our induction there. I'll just go up to our course list here. Let me just publish a few of these. I just want to show you the output in the learner experience. So hopefully it really makes it clear what we're doing. Let me just go back here. I'll just publish a few of these courses. Great. Okay, great. Almost there. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do here is go and create a test user profile that's connected to this account. And we can see the output in the learner experience here. So I'll just sign up. I'll just call it our webinar for June and create here. So now we're in the learner experience. If any of you are very new to the platform, this is the EdApp learner experience. We have our path here, we have our courses, which we can dive into. And if I click into this module, you can see they're all currently locked. If I go back to our courses, I believe we need the initial course here, safe work on roofs, to be published. Great. And let's just refresh over here and hope it appears. Okay, we may need to just go back. Okay, there's our safe work on roofs, and it will be added to that path very shortly. We may need to give it a quick second to upload there. Any questions on that, Camilla? Anything popping up in the chat?
I can't see anything directly path related. I have seen a couple of questions on video editing within the new video and image editor. And yes, you can trim a video within that editor. I think a question came up about that, but yeah.
Excellent.
Hey guys, just Lucy here. I've just seen another question that was, is creating questions with the AI functionality also going to work for Brain Boost? So once, I'm assuming what they mean is like, once you've created a course with the questions, will those questions be available to go into Brain Boost?
Brilliant. Great question there. So if we go into the tool, we can see that this AI generated course that we're playing around with earlier, we have the questions here that we've inserted. If we go back, we can go to Brain Boost here. Oh, I might need to upgrade this account. Just give me one moment. Actually, I'll show this to everybody. If anyone wants to trial the pro features, you have a 30-day window to do so. So if you've been worried about clicking the start button and worried about dropping in a credit card, absolutely don't be apprehensive, go about it. And at the end of the day, if the free plan is what you want, you can jump back into it. If we go to Brain Boost here, it's now enabled on our pro plan, and we can go in and choose the slides that we've generated to then enable them for Brain Boost. And then we boost here. Essentially what this means is that when the learner completes the lesson the first time, those slides then qualify for Brain Boost to be repeated to the learner in the future to reiterate the information and build knowledge retention over time. We could talk about Brain Boost all day. Thanks for that, Lucy.
Awesome. And then just one more for you guys. So we've got one in the Q&A that says, would you just copy the parts of the document into lesson 1? So talking about the document uploader, and then work your way through the lessons you are hoping to achieve, or will it work out a course based on your lessons in that document?
Very, very good question. Camilla, this one is for you.
Yeah, no worries. If it's a really lengthy document, the lesson that's created within the course will be almost summarize all that information. So you are better off almost coming up with a bit of a structure and then prompting at each for each lesson. What is coming next week, which we haven't mentioned here, is the ability to create AI lessons within a course. So you can create the course itself as a blank course or using AI Create. And then at this level here, with Luke's just got his cursor, you'll have the ability to add, so rather than just a standard lesson, an AI generated lesson at this point. So you can do the same thing, copy and paste text into a prompt or into just a topic input and create lessons. So for example, I've seen people create a course on the solar system and then really break down each lessons into the stars, the planets. You can get into more granular detail there and build out more of a kind of course curriculum.
Brilliant. So just as I'm showing on screen here, just adding additional lessons. And of course, right now we're able to add in EdApp templates to build it out in the old-fashioned way. But very soon we'll be able to generate an AI lesson, just as we're doing on the course level, but down one level deeper here. Camilla, talking about, I guess, thinking about the future, the idea of having AI help us with broader structuring of courses and doing more than just what we've been talking about today is super interesting. There might be a few more questions there, which we can absolutely get to, but I guess just segueing into what's next. Camilla, can you give us a sneak preview as to anything that we might see just around the corner? We've spoken about the document uploader, which is, a very hot request, but anything else that the product team is tooling away with?
Yeah, so we're investigating a number of different features and functionalities. So we've heard a lot from customers that they'd like AI narration. So AI narration within lessons and slides. Also AI text rewrite features. So at a slide level, you can select the text and ask the AI to regenerate it, rewrite it, adjust the tone, shorten the text, expand on the text. giving you all those options at a slide level. What else have we heard? Once we do introduce a document uploader, the ability to tailor what the output will be like in terms of how long you'd like the course, the number of lessons, how long it would take a learner to take. So, this structure, maybe this would be a 2-hour course, or we just want it to be a 10-minute course, giving that information up front so that we can customize what the prompt sends to ChatGPT and then pulls back. Adding, you've seen that you can add AI questions, so even adding AI content at a slide level as well, potentially down the line, slide transformation with those content slides. The possibilities are endless, but we'd love to hear more from even this audience, what you'd like to see next, what would help you in your day-to-day.
Amazing. Lucy, any great suggestions in the chat there?
Yeah, we've just had one come through that says, can the AI assist with the learning design, suggesting layouts, activities, and based on best practices, which is also a great suggestion.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, it would be amazing if we could, teach it the best practices of microlearning and what we've learned from our, amazing ID team within EdApp as well, and feed that into the prompt somehow.
Absolutely. The template library, if I'm just to zip back to the tool really quickly, this, I guess, reflecting on customers and their adoption of the platform, understanding the different templates in the library and where appropriate to use them is often, part of the learning of the authoring tool. I think if AI, obviously, talking about it, finding the most appropriate templates for the content, or, using templates that are proven and validated with a specific audience is very exciting. Obviously, it's, you've got audiences that may respond more to visuals or audio narration. Maybe you've got teams that prefer video. So having it kind of help with the actual construction of the course and not just the subject matter is super exciting. Any other questions there that we can help with before we wrap this up?
Not right now. Oh, we've actually just had one come through, sorry. How are we able to change the layout of the quiz, like multiple choice? Also with the true and false quizzes, this is about CSS, the second bit, but maybe you guys can answer the how are we able to change the layout of the quiz, so the type of slide that comes into the multiple choice questions.
Yeah, so let's just create a new module here. We've got a couple. So this is currently a blank course. It's got a title slide and an end slide, which is where you start when you build from scratch. We can select different quiz questions. So if we select a multiple choice question like this one with images, in the old-fashioned way, you would just populate your question here. And you would upload your images, which is, let's not discount this process, very quick and easy to do. But what you can do now, as we suggested earlier, is add in your question. Okay, let's add in, if it's a PPE related question, what is the correct eyewear? Hopefully it can correct my spelling of laboratory. So we're generating the question there. Then we'll see in a second the output is the various multiple choice templates with radio buttons. So hopefully I'm understanding this question correctly. Right now we can select any of these outputs in the standard radio button approach, and we can add them to lessons. To add them to the lesson, we can reorder the output. But what we're working on with slide transformation is essentially at the point at which it generates the output, you can select the template. Did I get that one correct, Lucy? Was that the intention of the question?
Yeah, that was great. Thanks, Luke.
Awesome. Anything else before we wrap up? Still got a few people on the line here.
I'll just add in as well, for the future, we're also looking at adding some more slide templates, so some more variation to the standard AI Create output. So yeah, if you've got any feedback on which slides you would love to be included, let us know. And also looking at how we can support different languages as well. If at the moment often when you enter a prompt in say Spanish, the output will be in English. We have seen sometimes that it is in Spanish, but we don't currently really support that. So that's something else we're planning to look at over the coming months.
Amazing. So I guess on that note, how do the good people let us know their feedback? Do we have support channels or Slack channels for our AI community, Camilla? What's the best way to get that feedback?
We do have a Slack channel. I can link that in the chat. Let me just pull that up now. And we've also, feel free to reach out to support on live chat, to reach out to your customer success team as well.
Amazing. If anyone would like an in-depth demo of the platform more broadly, because there are lots of features to talk about, please email me. I'll throw my email in the chat here. Would love to take you through the platform in more detail. I'll just pop my email in right now. Well, this has been fun, Camilla. Thank you so much for joining me or hosting this and letting me come along for the ride. Have a great day, everyone. Hopefully we see you soon.